As I walked through the garden in the early hours of the morning, I felt the earth firm beneath my feet. The breeze was gentle, the air still cool with the softness of night. In such moments, I am reminded that the body, like the roots of an ancient tree, needs to be deeply nourished in order to remain strong and stable through the changing seasons of life. Many people ask me, how do we grow old without becoming weak? And I often answer with a smile, we don't grow weak. We forget how to feed our roots. In the later years of life, especially beyond the age of 65, the body begins to speak more clearly. A slight ache in the knees, a stiffness in the lower back, a quiet resistance when climbing stairs. These are not signs of failure. They are gentle reminders, messages from the body asking for care, asking for nourishment. For many, the first answer is drink more milk, because that's what we've been told, that milk is the best source of calcium. But what if I told you that for many older adults, milk may bring more discomfort than strength, bloating, indigestion, a heavy feeling in the stomach, not because milk is bad, but because the body sometimes changes how it receives certain foods. Yet the need for calcium remains, not just to keep bones strong, but to maintain posture, mobility, independence, and the quiet dignity that comes with being able to move through life on your own terms. So where do we turn? We return to nature, we return to simplicity. There are foods, humble, quiet, and powerful, that contain even more calcium than milk. Foods that have nourished generations long before calcium tablets and dairy campaigns. Today I want to share 10 of them with you. Not as a doctor, not as a dietitian, but as someone walking the same path, searching for balance, listening to the wisdom of the body, and learning, always learning, how to live with grace. Let us begin. The first food I want to share with you may be unfamiliar to many, yet it holds extraordinary strength within its humble form. It is called the winged bean. Winged beans are not loud in appearance. They do not demand attention in the way that brightly colored fruits or heavily marketed supplements do, but in their quiet simplicity lies great power. Just 100 grams of winged beans provide around 440 milligrams of calcium, nearly 4 times the amount found in a glass of milk. They also contain magnesium, phosphorus, and protein, a rare combination in a single plant. Together, these nutrients do more than just build bone. They help the body absorb calcium effectively. They nourish not only the skeleton, but the entire foundation of movement, balance, and posture. When I think of winged beans, I think of things easily overlooked. In life, we are often drawn to the dramatic, the well-advertised, the convenient. But health, true health, is rarely loud. It is found in the quiet commitment to care, the daily act of choosing what strengthens, not what distracts. You can prepare winged beans in simple ways, lightly steamed, stir-fried in a little olive oil, or added to a warm soup. Their taste is subtle, their texture satisfying, especially for those who seek nourishment without complication. For older adults who often struggle with digestion, winged beans offer a gentle, fiber-rich option that the body can receive with ease. I once shared a meal with an old farmer who had eaten winged beans his entire life. His hands were rough, his back slightly bent, but his gaze was steady, and his voice carried the strength of someone deeply rooted. He told me, "The body does not forget what the earth gives it." That wisdom stayed with me, so let us not overlook the quiet. Let us not underestimate what grows close to the soil, unseen by most. In the winged bean, we find not only calcium, but a lesson that strength often comes from where we least expect it. This is the first root of nourishment I offer you. There are more to follow. Shall we continue? The second food I wish to offer you grows quietly in many corners of the world. It does not rise tall or shout for attention, but when prepared with care, it nourishes both the body and the spirit. This is the amaranth leaf. Amaranth is an ancient plant. Its leaves are soft, slightly earthy in taste, and remarkably rich in calcium. Nearly 275 milligrams in just 1 cup of cooked greens. That is more calcium than many commercial yogurts provide in the same amount. But calcium is not its only gift. These tender leaves are also abundant in vitamin K, which plays a crucial role in guiding calcium into the bones and away from soft tissues, reducing the risk of arterial calcification. They contain magnesium and potassium, two essential minerals that help regulate bone density, blood pressure, and muscular balance, a trio of support for the aging body. Research published in the journal Nutrients in 2021 affirmed that green leafy vegetables like amaranth contribute significantly to bone health, especially in populations where dairy intake is low. It's a reminder that strong bones do not require milk, they require wisdom in food selection. Still, like all things, amaranth leaves come with a note of awareness. They contain natural compounds called oxalates, which in large amounts may interfere with calcium absorption or affect kidney function in those with sensitivities. But the solution is simple: cooking. Boiling or lightly steaming the leaves reduces oxalate content, making their nutrients more bioavailable and safer to enjoy regularly. When I eat amaranth, I feel as though I am receiving the memory of the soil, soft yet unshakable. I often tell my students, flexibility is not weakness, it is wisdom in motion. The leaf bends, but it does not break, and so must we. In the softness of this vegetable lies a strength many overlook. It teaches us that nourishment does not always arrive with fanfare. Sometimes it comes in green silence, waiting for us to notice. This is the second offering. Let us continue walking, one breath, one step, one leaf at a time. The third food I invite you to rediscover is sweet, wrinkled, and quietly wise: the dried fig. In just 100 grams of dried figs, there are approximately 240 milligrams of calcium. That's more than what is found in the same amount of cow's milk. But numbers alone do not reflect its full value. This fruit carries within it the memory of sun and time, concentrated, slow, and rich. Figs are more than calcium. They also provide fiber, which supports digestion, a system that often becomes slower with age. They contain potassium, which balances sodium and helps prevent the leaching of calcium from the bones, and they offer polyphenols, plant compounds that gently reduce inflammation, calming the inner environment of our joints. In 2018, a study published in the Journal of Food Science and Technology highlighted the mineral richness of dried figs, particularly their calcium and magnesium content, and suggested that regular consumption may help reduce the risk of osteoporosis in older adults. But figs also teach us about the beauty of patience. Unlike many fruits, they are harvested when soft and dried slowly, a process that deepens their flavor and intensifies their nourishment. They are not flashy, they do not spoil quickly, they wait, like wisdom, for the right moment to be received. Still, there are a few things to consider. Dried figs are naturally high in natural sugars, which can raise blood sugar levels if eaten in excess. For those managing diabetes or metabolic concerns, moderation is the key. 2 or 3 dried figs per day are usually sufficient, a gentle offering rather than a feast. You may soak them overnight to soften their texture or enjoy them whole as a small treat alongside tea. However you choose, let it be slow, let it be mindful. I often reflect that in aging, sweetness comes not from excess, but from depth. Figs remind us of that softness, sweetness, and strength can coexist. This is the third step on our path. Let us keep walking with softness in our hands and strength in our bones. The fourth food I offer you comes not from soil, but from the vast stillness beneath the ocean's surface. It moves with the tide, bends with the current, and yet holds ancient strength. This is seaweed. Among the many varieties of edible seaweed, wakame, kombu, hijiki, one thing remains constant. They are rich in minerals drawn directly from the ocean. Just 100 grams of raw wakame can contain over 150 milligrams of calcium. But seaweed is not only about calcium, it is a mineral symphony. Seaweed provides magnesium, iodine, iron, and trace elements our bodies quietly crave but often lack. Magnesium works alongside calcium to regulate muscle contraction and bone density. Iodine supports the thyroid, which in turn regulates metabolism, a hidden player in maintaining energy and healthy aging. In 2020, a review published in the journal Marine Drugs described seaweed as a functional food, not only because of its nutrient content, but also for its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties which support long-term joint and bone health. But the gift of seaweed is not only physical, it is symbolic. It teaches us how to yield without breaking. It moves with the waves, yet never loses its form. For those of us growing older, this is a lesson worth remembering. Still, we must approach it with awareness. Seaweed is naturally high in iodine, and in some cases, particularly with species like kelp, excessive intake can affect thyroid function. Moderation matters. A small handful of dried seaweed added to soups or salads a few times a week is enough to receive its benefits without imbalance. I often stir pieces of kombu into a simple broth, letting it soften and release its quiet strength. There is something calming about that process, like the ocean itself, speaking slowly through the steam. As we age, we often long for grounding, but sometimes strength comes from surrender, from flowing rather than resisting. Seaweed shows us this truth. This is the fourth step. The ocean has spoken. Let us now return to the shore and take the next step, where bones meet bones and wisdom is found in the small silver fish. The fifth food I offer is humble, silver-skinned, and often forgotten on the lower shelves of market aisles. Yet inside its small frame lies a dense concentration of strength. I am speaking of sardines, small fish eaten whole with bones intact. A single can of sardines, roughly 90 to 100 grams, contains over 320 milligrams of calcium, but its real value is in its completeness. Unlike many sources of calcium, sardines also bring vitamin D, the key that unlocks calcium's path into our bones. Without vitamin D, calcium may pass through us unabsorbed. Sardines solve this puzzle in one simple bite. They also offer omega-3 fatty acids, powerful anti-inflammatory agents that help reduce joint pain and stiffness. For those living with arthritis or general age-related discomfort, this is not a luxury, it is essential nourishment. In 2017, a study published in Clinical Interventions in Aging showed that regular consumption of fatty fish like sardines improved bone mineral density in older adults, particularly when combined with weight-bearing movement and adequate vitamin D, food, breath, and motion all working together. There is also a symbolic lesson here. Sardines are eaten whole, nothing is thrown away, bones, skin, flesh all become part of us. It reminds me that true nourishment doesn't come from picking and choosing only what is convenient, but from accepting the full offering of life. Yet some caution is wise. Sardines, like many preserved fish, can be high in sodium. For those managing blood pressure or kidney function, choose unsalted or lightly salted versions when possible, and eat them as part of a whole balanced diet, not daily, but regularly. I like to mash sardines with a little olive oil and lemon, spread on whole grain bread, or add them gently to warm grain bowls. Their flavor is strong, a reminder that health need not always be bland. To eat sardines is to return to something essential. We take in the structure of another life so that our own bones may remain strong. There is humility in that, gratitude too. This is the fifth step. We have now walked halfway through this journey of nourishment. The second half awaits, quiet, simple, and powerful in its own way. The sixth food on our path has nourished civilizations for thousands of years. It is soft, simple, and deeply grounding. I am speaking of the soybean and the many forms it takes, tofu, tempeh, and other fermented creations. Soy is often misunderstood. Yet, when prepared properly, it becomes a remarkable ally for aging bones. Just half a block of firm tofu can provide over 250 milligrams of calcium. Fortified versions contain even more, sometimes exceeding 400 milligrams in a single serving. But soy offers more than just calcium. It contains isoflavones, plant-based compounds that mimic estrogen in gentle, balanced ways. For older adults, especially postmenopausal women, these isoflavones may help slow the loss of bone density, according to a 2022 meta-analysis in the Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging. Tempeh, a fermented form of soy, carries additional benefits. The fermentation process improves digestibility, increases the availability of minerals, and introduces beneficial probiotics, all supporting gut health and absorption. For those who find milk heavy or uncomfortable, tofu and tempeh offer an elegant alternative. But as always, awareness matters. Not all soy products are created equal. Highly processed soy, found in imitation meats or flavored snacks, often contains additives and excess sodium. Choose simple forms, plain tofu, organic tempeh, or unsweetened soy milk with added calcium and vitamin D. I like to steam tofu with ginger or stir-fry tempeh slowly with garlic and sesame oil. It's not just the flavor, it's the feeling afterward, light, steady, calm. Soy teaches us to soften without collapsing. Its texture yields to the touch, yet inside it carries strength. The same is true for us. As we age, we may become more tender, but we do not become weak. We simply move differently. We carry wisdom in the way we fold, the way we rise. To nourish the bones is not just to build mass. It is to honor the structure that has carried us this far. And in soy, we find that quiet honor, rooted in tradition, supported by science, and deeply alive in every bite. Let us continue. Each food a footstep, each choice a return to wholeness. The seventh food I share with you is vibrant, green, and quietly resilient. It grows in cool air, withstands frost, and becomes sweeter when kissed by cold. This is kale, a leafy green often seen, but rarely fully appreciated. Kale is one of the richest plant-based sources of calcium. 1 cup of cooked kale provides nearly 180 milligrams, a significant offering from such a delicate leaf. But kale's value is greater than numbers alone. It also offers vitamin K, essential for directing calcium to the bones, and vitamin C, which supports the production of collagen, the connective tissue that gives our joints and ligaments flexibility. In a 2014 study published in the journal Osteoporosis International, researchers found that high consumption of leafy greens, including kale, was associated with stronger bone mineral density in older adults. The reason lies not just in calcium, but in the symphony of nutrients that plants provide in natural balance. Unlike some other greens, kale is low in oxalates, compounds that can interfere with calcium absorption. This makes kale an especially effective and safe source of calcium for daily meals. Lightly steaming or sautéing, it helps soften the fibers and bring out its gentle sweetness, making it easier to digest for those with sensitive systems. But kale also offers something less visible, a lesson in posture. When you hold a leaf of kale in your hand, notice how it stands, upright, structured, textured like veins on an open palm. It holds water, sun, and minerals, yet remains light. In that, there is a reflection of how we might carry ourselves through time, not stiff, not limp, but supported from within. Some find kale bitter, and that too is part of its truth. In aging, we do not chase only what is sweet. We also learn to embrace complexity, the flavors that challenge us, the textures that awaken something deeper. I often add kale to broths, slow stir-fries, or blend it into warm soups. It welcomes warmth, it responds to care. This is the seventh step, a leaf that teaches us how to remain upright through the changing seasons. Let us walk onward, guided by the green strength of what quietly endures. The eighth food I bring to you is small, so small that it might slip through your fingers if you are not paying attention. Yet within that tiny form lies a profound reservoir of strength. These are chia seeds. 1 ounce of chia seeds, just about 2 tablespoons, provides approximately 180 milligrams of calcium. But what makes them exceptional is not only their mineral content, but the harmony of their nutrients. Chia seeds also contain magnesium, phosphorus, and omega-3 fatty acids, all critical for maintaining bone strength, joint flexibility, and reducing inflammation. When soaked in water, these seeds transform. They swell, absorb, and soften, becoming almost gelatinous. And in that transformation, they become easier to digest and more hydrating to the body. In a 2019 study published in Food Science and Nutrition, researchers found that regular intake of chia seeds supported bone density and reduced oxidative stress in aging models, pointing to their potential in long-term skeletal support. But like many things in life, preparation matters. Chia seeds should not be consumed dry in large amounts, especially by older adults with swallowing difficulties. When eaten without soaking, they may absorb liquid in the esophagus and cause discomfort. A simple solution: soak them in water, milk, or herbal tea for at least 10 to 15 minutes before use. The result is a gentle, soothing texture, ideal for porridges, yogurts, or blended into smoothies. I find beauty in their quiet expansion, from hard to soft, from dense to open. It reminds me that strength is not static. It adapts, it allows. Chia seeds also hold an old story. They were carried by ancient travelers, warriors, and messengers, used for endurance, for energy, for clarity. A seed so light, yet nourishing enough to sustain a journey across deserts. And perhaps that is what we need most as we age. Not heaviness, but energy that flows. Not complexity, but simplicity that lasts. This is the 8th offering, a lesson in how something so small can support something as great as our bones, our movement, and our will to keep walking. Let us take another step together as the path continues to unfold with grace and depth. The 9th food I place before you is tiny, almost invisible in the palm of a hand, yet it carries the dense weight of the earth's minerals. These are sesame seeds. Just 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds offers around 88 milligrams of calcium, but the true power lies in accumulation. 2 to 3 tablespoons, gently roasted and eaten daily, provide more calcium than a glass of milk, without the heaviness, without the discomfort. These seeds also contain magnesium, phosphorus, and healthy fats, nutrients that not only support bone formation, but also reduce inflammation in aging joints. In traditional medicine systems, sesame has long been used as a tonic for strengthening bones, improving circulation, and calming the nervous system. Modern science is beginning to echo these ancient insights. A 2020 study published in Biological Trace Element Research found that regular consumption of sesame seeds improved bone density markers and reduced markers of oxidative stress in postmenopausal women. But numbers aside, there is something deeply meditative about sesame. I often roast the seeds slowly, stirring them over gentle heat, listening to their faint crackling sound. It reminds me that nourishment does not have to be dramatic. Sometimes healing begins in the smallest gestures, in the care we give to how we prepare our food. There is a quiet discipline in using sesame. You don't eat it in large handfuls. You sprinkle it over porridge, into soups, on vegetables. It invites us to be deliberate, to savor, to add just enough, not too much. This, too, is part of wisdom. A gentle reminder: whole sesame seeds are best absorbed when ground or well chewed. Tahini, a smooth sesame paste, is another excellent way to receive its full nutrients, especially for those with difficulty chewing or digesting seeds whole. These seeds teach us something subtle, that strength can be soft and that repetition creates resilience. Like the daily rising of the sun or the steady beat of a drum, it is what we do consistently that shapes the structure of our life. This is the 9th offering, so the smallest perhaps, but one of the most enduring. Let us now walk together toward the final food and the final lesson. The 10th and final food I offer is both familiar and quietly noble. It fits in the palm, firm and smooth, yet holds within it the capacity to nourish deeply. This is the almond. An ounce of almonds, about 23 whole nuts, contains nearly 75 milligrams of calcium. But its benefits extend far beyond that number. Almonds provide healthy fats, magnesium, and protein, all of which play crucial roles in maintaining bone density, muscle support, and joint mobility, especially as we age. Magnesium is of particular importance. Without adequate magnesium, calcium cannot be properly absorbed or retained in the bones, and almonds, rich in this mineral, support that delicate balance. In a 2013 study published in Nutrition Journal, researchers observed that higher magnesium intake was positively associated with bone mass in older adults, particularly when paired with sufficient dietary calcium. Almonds are also anti-inflammatory. Their vitamin E content helps reduce oxidative stress, which is often elevated in aging tissues. For those who experience stiffness in the morning or aching joints after walking, this can offer gentle relief, not as a cure, but as daily support. Still, almonds ask for mindful attention. They are calorie dense, and when roasted or salted excessively, their value can be diminished. Raw or lightly roasted, unsalted almonds are best, eaten slowly, chewed thoroughly, or even soaked overnight to soften their texture and aid digestion. When I eat almonds, I feel their grounding nature, solid, unhurried, sustaining. They remind me of the value of consistency, how small choices made daily can build something unshakable over time. Sometimes I grind almonds into warm cereals, blend them into plant-based milk, or simply enjoy them with tea in the afternoon sun. In each case, I remind myself this is not a snack, it is nourishment, a quiet act of self-respect. And so we arrive at the final step of this journey, 10 foods, each one a lesson, in structure, in softness, in balance. To care for our bones is not just to avoid fracture, it is to remain rooted, upright, present. The journey continues even after the last bite, as every meal becomes a quiet meditation in strength and grace. We have now walked through 10 offerings, 10 foods that carry strength not in noise, but in quiet purpose. From the depth of the ocean to the softness of a leaf, from the stillness of a seed to the resilience of a bone, each one has shared with us something more than nutrients. Each one has reminded us of how to live well. We often speak of health as something we must chase through pills, treatments, or routines. But in truth, health is not something far away. It lives in what we do every day, in the meals we prepare, in the way we sit, in the breath we return to when the world feels heavy. Bones are more than structure. They are our silent companions, carrying us through years of laughter, labor, loss, and love. To care for them is not only physical, it is an act of honoring the life we have walked. And we do not need to search far. We do not need to depend solely on milk or expensive supplements. The earth has already given us what we need in beans, in greens, in seeds, in fish, natural forms of strength aligned with the rhythms of life. But food alone is not enough. Let us also move, let us stretch, let us walk with the body, not against it. Every step we take is a message to the bones. I am still here, I am still alive. Let us rest, deep, honest rest. For healing is not found only in action, but also in stillness, where the body repairs and the spirit returns. And above all, let us remain kind, kind to the body that has carried us, kind to the joints that now move slower, kind to the self that is learning, still learning how to live with grace. This is not the end of the journey, it is the beginning of a new relationship with your bones, your breath, your food, your silence. May you eat with awareness, may you move with wisdom, and may you grow strong, not just in body, but in presence. The roots are within you. Nourish them well.